Hello everybody, this is Thomas from Montafoils. I'm going to show you here how to use your TakeOff remote. So to turn it on, just press the O button long press till you see that loop loading, and then you end up on the main screen. The main screen shows you your acceleration, as long as I press here. If your remote is locked or no, to unlock it, press one time on the minus, and then you can accelerate and go. The right side here in green and then orange and red, if it comes down, will show you the battery percentage level, here 57%. At the top left, you will see the timing as of now. I'm indoor right now, so you don't see it because I'm not getting the GPS. Here you have the little GPS logo that shows you the number of GPS that you can connect to. Here it's 0. Then you see the most important logo here is, are you connected to your TakeOff? Here you see the white bars. 4 bars is the maximum, so it's connected. If it was red, it wouldn't be connected. At the top right is the battery level of your remote, and at the bottom some riding information, remaining riding time in terms of minutes, in terms of kilometers. If you want to see other information, press one time on the 0, go to next screen, power consumption in watt, efficiency watt per kilometer, surf distance in meters, and the foil temperature in degrees. The most important thing you need to check on your remote is that it is set up in TakeOff mode. To check that out, you need to go to the menu. To go to the menu, press plus and minus simultaneously, starting by the plus. So plus, minus, I stay pressed, and I'm going to go to the menu. This only works if you are locked. So if you are not locked, the remote will think that you are switching from gears plus and minus. If you want to access your menu now, but you've set a long lock time, like 30 seconds for example, simply restart your remote. It will be locked when starting. Pairing e-foil. That we're going to check. The most important now, we've put it in display settings and device selection. To come down, I'm pressing plus. To come up, pressing minus. And to enter, pressing O button. I'm in TakeOff mode now, so there's nothing to do. Let's say you are in a wrong mode, e-foil for example, or Voyager. Just click on the O to come back to the one you need to. Plus, return, and go back to previous menu. So that is the most important thing. The second most important thing is the power settings. Cutoff time. So this will be the time until the power shuts down on your TakeOff. The number of milliseconds or seconds when the connection is lost between the remote and the board. So if I go now, by standard we're at 700 milliseconds, which means 0.7 seconds. If the connection is lost, the remote propeller will stop. This is what we recommend. It leaves you a bit of time to have water above the board when you're crossing waves, but still have the power. More than that, you can go if you want to, but be careful with it, because the propeller will keep turning, although you have already released the remote. Start level is the gear you need to start on. So you have 2 ways to ride. Either you ride in the max gear, so gear 18, there's 18 gears in total, and you play all the powers with your trigger, or you use the gears, and we recommend you to start in gear 10 or 12, which is going to give you 60% of the power. And once you have accelerated and the board starts moving and you're repositioning yourself on the board, then you will increase next gear I'm going to show you. So here I start in gear 10, return, I will go back to the main menu. It reboots every time you change the setup. So starting in gear 10, let's say you're in the water, I will unlock, accelerate. The remote is basically sending the signal now. I'm moving on my board, the board is moving a bit, I need more power, I click on the plus, it goes to next gear, plus, more power, and usually in 12 or 13, around 70-75 kilo, you will be flying. So you see here 2 ways. Either you have everything in your trigger and you accelerate very smoothly, which requires more skills, because when you move on your board, you need to be super stable with your finger, or you move to a lower gear, go to full trigger and slowly increase with the plus as you go, which is what I recommend as a starter. In power setting, the third menu is called Throttle ramp. It's basically how smooth or how fast the response of the trigger acts on the movement of the propeller. So how fast do you want the propeller to spin when you accelerate? If you put it in very slow, this will have a very slow acceleration, and you have 5 speeds. So very slow, slow, normal, fast, and very fast. If you don't know what to put it as standard in normal, and then you can adjust to smoother or faster. The fourth option in the power settings is called lock time. It's how fast do you want the trigger to lock itself when you do not touch it. It's a safety feature. If you fall into the water and you don't touch your remote, you want it to be locked when you swim back to the board. But when you are doing some foil assist, you may not want the remote to lock itself too fast. Let's say that you're arriving on a wave, start to surf, and after 20-30 seconds you're about to fall and the wave is finishing and you want to go upwind. You will want your remote to work and the trigger to activate the motor directly. Otherwise you would fall. You will need first to unlock with minus and accelerate. So either you have it locked and you anticipate that you're gonna need the motor and you unlock and accelerate, or you put a lock time that is high, like for example here 30 seconds or even more, 30 minutes to the maximum. So basically it's never gonna lock itself, and you will always have the trigger response. But keep in mind, when it's not locked, you need to be extra careful. The lock is a safety feature. In e-foil mode, when you are really always on the throttle, we recommend it to put it at the minimum at 5 seconds, so that as soon as you fall, the remote will lock itself. We are done with the power settings. Now we can move to the display settings. In display settings, you first have the units, where you can choose from kilometers per hour, miles per hour, or knots. You have the time zone, where you can adjust to where you are. You just keep on pressing O here to have it to what you need. The dark mode. You saw the previous menu had black background and white text. Here it's going to do the opposite. If you put it in off, it's going to be all white background and black text. I'm going to show you now. There you go. Continuing with the display settings. The next option is called rental mode. It's not made to work on the TakeOff, so make sure that you have it in standard and nothing else. Device selection is very important. You need to have it in TakeOff mode. If you have it in Voltifoil or Voyager, please make sure it's back to TakeOff mode, otherwise it's not going to properly work. Display off setting is the delay where you want to have the screen shutting it down. It's not going to lock your trigger, it's just going to make the screen black to save the battery of the remote. You can have it in never, where it's always on, or to 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, or more. This is all for the display settings. The next option is pairing e-foil. As standard, your TakeOff comes paired with your remote. Would you have a new remote, swap your remote with someone else, or for some reasons not having it connecting to your TakeOff, you should go into pairing e-foil. Once you are inside, make sure first your TakeOff is off, it's not on. So for the TakeOff air, that the battery is not inside, or for the TakeOff flow, the screen is not showing any data. Click on pair remote. You will see that the remote is waiting for TakeOff to power on. Then you can turn on your TakeOff air by putting the battery inside, or your TakeOff flow by using the magnet and pressing the magnet button at the front of the main unit. As soon as the TakeOff turns on, the remote will shut down and you will know it's paired. If you stay on this screen, it's either that the pairing didn't work, or there might be a software glitch where the remote is frozen on that screen. In such case, please reset your remote with the magnet sensor that you have in the corner here by placing it next to the rotor of your motor, or just bringing a magnet close to it. In the menu, the second option that you can see here is called trigger calibration. As standard, your remote comes properly calibrated. But would you see the trigger not being properly calibrated in the menu, as you can see here on the left when you accelerate? Would you see the blue on although not pressing the trigger, or not reacting fully, not going to the top when you press it there? Please do recalibrate the trigger. The trigger is working with a magnet sensor, and we need to calibrate this magnet if it's not properly done. To do it, just go to the menu, go to that second option called Trigger Calibration, and click on the first option, Calibrate Trigger. The first thing, you need to release the trigger and press O button, so which I just did now without touching the trigger. Then it's going to tell you to press fully the trigger and press O button, which is going to measure the maximum of your trigger, and then release it, and it's going to measure again the 0. It's basically measuring the 0, measuring the 100%, and measuring the 0. I'm going to show it to you again. Calibrate trigger, 0, nothing, full, OK, release, not pressed. And we are good. Once you're done, please make sure to test right away by exiting the menu and going back to the main menu that when you're not pressing, there is no blue going up on that side. And when you're full, it's at the top. The next option is Phone Connect. You will need to do this in order to download the logs on your remote when the GPS has recorded. To go inside of it, go to Phone Connect, OK, on. Then you're going to see that the screen turns black. Bluetooth mode is on, it says Connect to Phone. We invite you to take your phone, go to Montafoil's application, go to the the bottom left menu, which is Dashboard, and click on plus. You will see the top left, Manta Remote. Click on it. It's going to look for the available devices, and you will see T01 remote that will show up in the list. Click on it. It's going to add the device to your dashboard. Once you've added the remote to your dashboard, you can go inside of it, go to Logs, and download a ride, and then you can download the tracks. Click on it. It's going to ask you to basically connect to the Wi-Fi that is called Montafoils. So once you have it and you are here, go to your Wi-Fi, look for Montafoils, connect to remote, allow, and then the new logs are going to be fetched. This is a new remote. I don't have them on this example, but you will see them showing up. Another option in the menu is called Firmware Update. You will need to go inside of it. Would you need to upgrade the software of your remote or of your TakeOff? We will show you that in a separate video. And finally, the last option called Reset System. Would you have any issue with the settings? We might invite you to do a reset. If you go there, just click on Factory Reset, OK, resetting, and it's going to reboot the remote as per the factory setting. Once done, very important, go to the device selection, recalibrate your trigger, and you will have to redo the pairing of your remote to the TakeOff with the proper power settings that you may need. To recharge your remote, very simple. Place your pad on a stable surface, make sure that you have plugged the USB, and place this side of the remote, the side that has the little charging logo here, on the charger. Make sure you place it right in the middle of the charger, and you will see on the remote the little blue LED popping up. If you don't see this LED, it means it's not charging. This is not going to work if you place it on the side. It needs to be properly in the center. You will see that the charger pad is actually properly charging when the pad turns blue. If you remove it, the pad is going to turn to nothing or green. That's all you need to know with your TakeOff remote. We hope you have a great time riding it. Stay safe.